I want somebody someday to retranslate Gordo's lyrics for me.
Geez,
Because I've heard
why don't you write about cars and girls?
I don't know. I've heard he's really good.
No, is there an oblique message there, or does it go beneath the surface lyric there? Are you writing about something? Because I know in the past, some of your songs have been rather enigmatic.
I don't know. That song, I mean, it's kind of hard to. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe the entire mood on that. I guess the reoccurring theme in a lot of what I do, and it's probably the Jewish upbringing, is guilt. Just a sense that at some level I lack a lot of discipline. I don't like all the thoughts that run through my mind, and I don't like all the things I do, and it's just about, to some degree, that lack of control, and that lack of doing what I know is the right thing, or just always having something at the back of my mind telling me I shouldn't be doing what I am doing, or I should be doing what I'm not doing, or whatever it isn't right.
Do you think you assuage that guilt by giving it form in your music?
No, probably not. I don't know. That song's a strange one to me, because a few of them I can give a really direct story and say exactly what it's about. And that song is one of the few on the record that was maybe more like old lyrics, in that it's more kind of a mood describing things around the subject rather than just saying what it is. Most of the album is self-flagellation to some degree or another, but it's a better place to work it out than in personal life.
It seems like what you're talking about. That difficult side of your lyrics is not something that comes across, though. I mean, when people think of Toad the Wet Sprocket, we tend to think of finely crafted pop songs, stuff that's very user-friendly, very seductive and poppy and melodic. That doesn't really come across, except maybe in interviews like this.
I guess it depends on who's listening, though. I mean, the weird thing is, if you hear our stuff off the radio, it tends to be. We write pop songs. We would never claim we don't. I like, the song, they tend to be kind of hummable ditties, which is just the kind of music we write. But lyrically, I don't know if a lot of people really listen to lyrics at all on the radio.
No. The simple answer, no.
No.
Yeah.
And there were a couple songs that were lighter. I mean, All I Want, well, the verse was light. The chorus was light. I don't think the verses were. Walk on the Ocean was just kind of nostalgic dreck. But most of the songs, I don't know if heavy is the right word, but they tend to actually be about something. They tend not to be really light and really happy. And I mean, at least that I can gather from the people who have most of the records and actually really listen to them, they hear the words. So
well, maybe a classic example is the song "Good Intentions," which was used on that very deep, philosophical, heavy program called Friends.
I
mean,
exactly.
Doesn't that sort of deal with maybe what you were talking about a second ago about the things that run through your mind that you would sort of weigh heavily on your mind?
Yeah, that's once again same old subject. It's I don't know. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
I always wonder about just like standards I hold myself to, or whatever. Like, my wife keeps amazing me because she doesn't expect to be perfect. She doesn't expect to have to do something, to make the world okay before she dies or she's failed. There's just some like weird ingrained stuff from my family or whatever that And a lot of people I know have it. A lot of men, especially, have this.
Are you referring to like an obsessive personality?
Yeah, some kind of obsessive personality where you always hold yourself up to, just holding yourself up to a standard that you are never, ever, ever going to achieve.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that rather than using that usually to make you move forward, you use it to make you get depressed and stay in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can either go, hey, I'm inspired, I'm going to go forward for this goal.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe by setting more realistic goals, it's possible to be a better person.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I have these weird kind of obsessive tendencies, and it's really interesting to live, to be married to somebody who doesn't. I think it's one of the reasons I like her so much, is that where I'm beating myself up for not being perfect, she's like, get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck guilt. Why are you, just do what you think you should do next time, and don't kill yourself about it. So what?
But you think that's a side of you that you get from your family, you said, from your parents?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say from my parents. I get it from me. Everything adds into that. I don't know. Do you do that?
I think we all do, don't we? I mean, we all have ideals, and we strive for those ideals, and I think there's frustration, collapse along the way. And, everybody goes through their own sort of personal defeats, right? I don't think you're alone. It's kind of a universal theme. The interviewer was asking about your lyric writing technique. You seem to always focus on the person, me or him or that kind of a thing. I guess that's sort of a technique you've always used. I guess you'll continue to use, right?
Probably. They tend to be pretty personal.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this album, compared with older ones, I used to, how can I say, insert a lot of vaguely poetic-sounding nonsense a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty harsh on most of our stuff. I think there are a lot of really poor lyrics that are trying to be good lyrics on most of our records.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably think the same about this record in a while.
Mm.
But I think, for the most part, I mean, there's been good lyrics. Dulcinea was better written than Fear, I think. But I've historically settled for, words that sound interesting together instead of words that mean something, and I really wanted to write stuff that meant something and not have so much nonsense on this record.
Mm-hmm.
Singing nonsense kind of bugs me after a while. I think it's like a screen to hide behind.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think making phonetically interesting sounding lyrics is a challenge as well. It doesn't have to be Shakespeare.
No, it's true, and it can even be Cocteau Twins, which I never found lacking.
Mm-hmm.
She can sing Mish Dorf, Dish Dorf, Dish Dorf, and it's emotionally engaging.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just for me to sing my words, and I can, sing, like the Radiohead album I thought was just great last year.
Right.
I don't always know what he's singing about.
Right.
Actually, a lot of the time I don't know what he's singing about, but it just works.
Right, yeah.
That's
what I mean, yeah.
It's really moving. But for me and my lyrics, I need to know what it means at this point. I'm not as content with just having it sound nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, other people can do it fine, and I'll listen to it, and I won't think anything's wrong with it. But I thought it was being lazy on my part if I would do that.
Mm-hmm. Again, one of those high standards you're holding yourself to, because obviously the listener will be left in the dark more than not.
Or maybe they'll go, God, this guy's just full of shit, which is another distinct possibility.
Well, he was wondering, you've, I guess, been writing songs like this for about half your life now, and there must be some sides of you as a songwriter that change and other sides that don't change, or do you think you're pretty much the same songwriter you were at the age of 15?
Hopefully I'm completely different.
In what way?
I'm hopefully not an adolescent freak anymore.